Hello again, Dan Alasso, Making History, and as a result of a conversation that sort of ensued in comments after my post yesterday, I think I'm going to begin calling this my career journey, or just my journey. It is something that has been sort of triggered by my retrenchment, but it's moving someplace else. So I did get responses to the post that I made yesterday, and one viewer of my videos suggested that a Because of Retrenchment series is kind of valuable as a primary record of what's going on here, and also that it resonated with his own experiences. And several others said that they liked the storytelling element and kind of the narrative sense-making element of the thing. Some others said that it might be a good idea to leave off a little bit the griping and focus more on the positive future that I'm trying to move towards. And I agree that I am better off probably investing my energy there. Dealing with the other stuff really kind of saps me and sometimes ruins my day. I didn't actually go to a social hour that my union hosts every fall yesterday evening because I wasn't that into the idea of seeing all those people and talking about that stuff again. It's something that I usually attend. There's usually beer and wine and hors d'oeuvres. I went to CrossFit instead. There are still definitely some things to gripe about at BSU. I just paid my son's bill at Mankato for his room and board for this first semester that he's down there, and attached to it was a $192.50 Bemidji State charge. It was added because they're all part of the same state system. After trying to find out more about it, which was difficult because of confidentiality, I was trying to find out why it had changed from $443.50, which it had been previously. There was really never any explanation about that. After telling me that they couldn't talk to me about it because of this confidentiality issue, they did send my son a bunch of screen prints of a series of emails that apparently passed last year, over the course of the whole year, fall and spring, between the bookstore and the business office and the person who is in charge of the PSEO for high school students. And apparently my son had neglected to return one of the books that he got at the bookstore. You sort of buy them, but you're actually borrowing them. The state is paying for them unless you don't return them, or apparently unless you return them damaged. So they said one of the books in these emails, they never actually explained it to him directly or to me. You just had to sort of piece it together by reading the email exchange. So apparently he had neglected to bring back one of the books. He had brought one of them back damaged. He had used it for the semester, and apparently it wasn't in good enough condition when he returned it. And apparently, this was confusing, but apparently he had tried to, he had returned a book that he hadn't actually gotten from the bookstore. So I don't know what book that was. I don't think he ever got it back. I think they just tossed it in the donations pile. And I am not sure that the bookstore or the PSEO office or the business office or anyone really tried to contact him. There was some talk about that in the email threads. At one point, the bookstore manager asked for his phone number, and the business office gave it. And I don't know, though, whether or not he was ever contacted, because there are no logs of calls or anything like that, which you would imagine would be kind of good business practice. If you were actually calling people, you would make a note that this was the day and the time that I called, and this was the result. I either contacted him and we talked about this or not. But there's none of that. And then the $443.50 sort of mysteriously changed to $192.50. And so I went ahead and paid it, just so that I wouldn't have to think about it any longer. That's always how they get you, isn't it? But I really didn't want to think about it any longer. I didn't want to dig into what had happened, and clearly there was some responsibility on my son's part for either not bringing back a book or bringing back a damaged book or whatever combination of those things. And I really also didn't want to try to ferret out just where the communication had dropped off between the university and the student. That's no longer really my issue again, because retrenchment, right? So I guess in the long run, this is just another message for me that I should change this from being about retrenchment, about my frustrations with how this university is not run like a business. I guess I'll change this to much more explicitly a kind of career journey diary, from retrenchment to whatever it is that's going to be next. It definitely is a because of retrenchment journey, right? Although I was already pursuing things like open education and writing my own course content and blogging about historiography and primary sources and all these things, the events of the retrenchment have definitely lit a fire under me and have spurred me to focus on them much more directly, to give much more attention and time and energy to them, and to create more output in all those areas, because I think they all contribute to whatever the next thing is going to be, or at least I hope that they will. And I also like the discipline of focusing on this each and every morning and saying something, because that helps me organize my thinking, makes me think things through. So I'm going to keep doing that. So I hope people reading and watching this continue to find it a little bit interesting. Thank you again very much for watching, and I will see you again.